welcome and good luck.
Hi, I'm Danilo Malevsky, Senior Consultant with the Eisenberg Advisory Group, and this is Chris Drum, also a Senior Consultant with our team. We understand that you've called us back here to speak a little more in depth about the ethical issues of your application, and without any further ado, I'll just catch you up a little bit on what we went on to talk about last meeting. So really with IBECC, we have this amazing platform that allows college students to exercise their free speech anonymously at their fingertips. And really, you take out your app, you get a live feed of what's going on around you. You can upvote or downvote the posts that you like and you dislike, and it's completely anonymous. You have no passwords, no usernames, no profiles, nothing. We've identified two very core product features, which is one, that it's geographically based on the 1.5-mile radius, and that really creates local communities for the app, and two, that it's completely anonymous. The anonymity is a key aspect of the product that we want you to keep in mind at all times. And we really think that those two components and the way IBECC has been growing lately really are putting IBECC in the moment to pivot themselves into exponential growth in the market and position themselves for the best growth possible. Now with that said, we've identified one big roadblock to that growth, and that's the negative media that they've been receiving over the past 12 months. And really, the New York Times has even described IBECC as the Wild West of social media apps, which I'm sure you guys have seen in the news and are very appalled by. But as we understand that, we really wanted to take a step back and look at the ethical dilemma behind that. And my partner here, Chris, is going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Noah. So the ethical dimension of this problem lies on this paradoxical dilemma between the user's right to free speech and the user's right to be protected by oppressive and threatening speech. And we've come to the consensus that IBECC has four primary duties. The first of which is IBECC's duty to the law and society itself. IBECC needs to uphold the promotion and protection of the First Amendment. Not only is anonymous speech protected by the First Amendment, but censorship generally doesn't deter bad ideas, it merely hides them. At the same time, IBECC needs to educate its customers to follow anti-discrimination policies such as Title IX and individual state anti-bullying legislation. The second duty IBECC has is to its users. IBECC needs to continue to be a place where users can express themselves freely and be a marketplace for ideas. At the same time, IBECC needs to create an environment for its users that's free of oppressive and threatening speech. The third duty IBECC has is to its investors, mainly Sequoia Capital, our leading venture back. IBECC needs to ensure profitability through its customer base, as well as protect investor reputation through association with IBECC. And through the negative PR we've been receiving lately, that might be trouble down the road. The fourth and final duty IBECC has is to college campuses, our target market. IBECC needs to promote the freedom of speech on college campuses, as well as preserve campus safety and protect students from threatening and harmful speech. So, understanding these duties, we've come up with four possible courses of action. The first option is to stick with the status quo. Stay the course. Continue your hands-off, no-comment approach.
And that's a very interesting approach because it's what you've been doing now, and it's basically laying low. And although it's good because you're basically hiding from the PR, you're not issuing any public statements, you're not really addressing the issue, and by not addressing the issue, and since we don't have a lot of precedence with legal issues in terms of Title IX and a couple of other things, you're keeping safe. The risk that we see that is arising from competitors. We have Blind Spot, which is a recent app that's just been funded by a couple of celebrities and a couple other venture capitalists, and they're going to be positioning themselves in these issues. And if they do so before IBECC, you're going to see a very down south fall for IBECC in the future, and Blind Spot really could overtake you guys in the market, excuse me.
The second possible course of action, fight harassment head on. In this scenario, IBECC would take its anti-bullying approach and make that part of its brand, as well as provide anti-bullying resources directly on its website.
Yeah, and there was also a really good example of that Ask FM, which was a website that's been up for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and they actually put that on their website. They have a full-on support link and support site basically on their front page of their website. And The problem with that is that one, it's very aggressive for maybe a high school student or a college student. You're going to go access the site that is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be anonymous, and you see all this support stuff. You see all this bullying, all these keywords, bullying and cyberbullying and harassment and all these things on this site that's supposed to be fun. And if you look now on Google or wherever it may be, Ask.fm is virtually dead in college campuses and in high school, and high school was even their core constituency. So we really can't afford to have that happen to IBECC, or else Sequoia is going to lose their investment.
The third possible course of action: be an advocate for free speech, but don't take any proactive measures.
And again, that's really supporting free speech and supporting the First Amendment head on. And like we've mentioned before, the First Amendment, although it promotes free speech, it doesn't stop it. People are still thinking bad ideas in their heads. They just might not be exercising them, or might be not exposing them. IBECC gives them the tool to do so, but it doesn't censor it in any type of manner. It just hides it. And the problem with that is that you're really not addressing the second issue. You're only advocating for free speech, but then what happened to Title IX? What happened to college campuses, which is our core constituency? 98% of our user base is between ages 18 and 34 years old. And I guarantee you that most of that is in college campuses. We're in over 3,000 college campuses now, and if you lose that, you really lose everything.
The fourth and final suggested course of action is to take a leadership position on both fronts.
And we from the Iceberg advisory team really believe that that's what you have to do. You have to be a leader on both fronts, and we do understand that that's a very, very difficult thing to do. Finding that middle ground is probably one of the most difficult things that you could do. You could try to do as a company. It's you have two major legislations, especially First Amendment free speech, but we do have a trifold strategy that we propose to attack those issues and be a leader on both fronts. We suggest mitigating the risk from within, and what that means is, one, create an ethics division within the company, and that's inside the organizational structure of IBECC by hiring a compliance officer from the outside with experience in legal issues, ethical issues, and preferably experience in the high-tech industry and app industry. So when you hire someone from the outside with all this experience, that's going to be someone who's going to be integrated full-time in application development. And that's for application development with an ethical mindset, so that features like the handles feature, which you guys are more than familiar with, that your product team has developed in the past couple of months, that's basically a username that your users can create or choose not to create, and they can use to impersonate someone else, they could use as themselves, or just create any type of username. And that rose a big problem in Hamilton College, where a student impersonated another student. And if you had this ethics committee maybe 6 months ago, they could have reviewed that feature before it actually went to market and caused that negative PR. So we want to really mitigate that risk from within before all these mistakes happen in product development. The second is to really advocate free speech on the front line of our users, and that's on college campuses. We see all these brands, all these big brands nowadays using campus representation in campus rep programs. I'm sure maybe your sons and daughters are campus reps in their own colleges, but we really don't want to take that attitude. We don't want that to be our campus representation to be marketing. We want it to be educating the local communities to use IBECC in a positive manner. It's really educate them how IBECC can be used in a positive manner. A really big suggestion we're going to have, and to really the ethics division can really formalize that, is maybe take a plasma screen in key areas on campus and scroll down through positive conversations that are occurring in IBECC. And that way you're really showing what's going on positively in IBECC, and not censoring what's the negative side on IBECC, but just highlighting the positives. And by that, you're combating the negative PR, not on the back line, not on the news outlets, but right on the front line with your users. And I think by doing that, we're really aiding the college campuses in fighting, in protecting Title IX, and in also promoting free speech by promoting all this positive impact that IBECC is creating. So with that, third and most important part, I think, is measuring and optimizing. You constantly have to reassess these implementations and these new features to make sure that things are changing. It's a completely loose industry. As we know, high tech, everything changes every minute, every day, and And by doing that, you have to create, the ethics committee has to create quarterly reports. You got to report to your to the leadership what's going on with these new features, the competitive landscape, what other competitors are doing in terms of new features to protect free speech and to protect from harassment, maybe what Facebook and Twitter are doing, etc. So we think that with this trifold strategy, we really attack both issues head on, and we really position your brand in the best way possible to both protect the user's right to free speech and protect them from harassment, and really educate our core constituency of college students. So that's our suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.